welcome back. I'm Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, here on YouTube and on Instagram, and this is my channel about cross stitch and now knitting, because I've gotten into knitting. So I feel like I can now officially say I am multi-craftual. So this is my craft channel where it's mostly cross stitch with a little bit of knitting. So if you're new, welcome. I hope you find something you like here and hang around and subscribe. And if you're a regular returner, welcome back. It is Monday evening on the October 10th. October 10th? It's not October 10th. Whew, it's October 5th. Monday, October 5th. And it is in the evening, so it is happy hour. We're having cross stitch happy hour again. This evening, the dear husband did not have a late night meeting with India, and so he offered to go pick Becca up at the studio so that I could film Flosstube. So it's happy hour. Cheers, which this does not look like a cocktail, but trust me, it is. As I was getting prepped to film and I was thinking, oh, what sounds good for happy hour? I was thinking it's gotten a little chilly here. Yay, fall is officially here. I'm so happy. I was thinking, oh, I really wish we had some apple cider, because some apple cider with Fireball whiskey sounds really good right now. Doesn't that sound good? That's going on the grocery list this week to get some apple cider. But I don't have any now, and then I was really in the mood for a hot drink. So decaf Americano with some Baileys, some Baileys Irish cream. This is a little later in the evening. It's post dinner, so this kind of feels like a little desserty, a little rich and yummy. So that's the cocktail for cross stitch happy hour this evening. And there's lots of cross stitching goodness. I hope you've all had a good week. The past week has been, not gonna lie, a little nuts. It's been a little crazy. It's left me a little discombobulated and distracted, but we're here to have some fun and talk about cross stitch. And that's what I feel like I need right now to kind of center me and get me ready for the rest of the week. So I've got lots of whips, both cross stitch and knitting. I have a finish, a little bit of haul, we'll do some giveaway, lots of fun stuff. So let's jump right in. I did have couple questions that were asked in the comments section. I love your comments. Thank you so much to everybody who comments. I read them all. I'm enabled by all of you who show me other things that I need to buy and look at and check out. So I really appreciate it, and I read everyone. I put a little heart by it if I read it, and I respond to as many as I can. But I had a couple questions that I thought maybe somebody else had the same questions, and so I would just answer them here. The first one was somebody asked, how do I count my stitches for the challenges? Because I think I was talking about semi-sane stitchers, and that I was, had to stitch like 800 or 900 stitches on a piece. And the way I do it, I'm sure other people do it differently, but one, if it's a full coverage piece, Pattern Keeper counts for me, and I love that. And if it's not, then I use an app, and I will show you which one I use. I'm on Android, and it's this one here. It literally is called Counter. So I have an Android, it's called Counter. And I like it because you can have lots and lots of counters. So, and you can put a picture there. So I can keep counters for multiple whips especially in things like enchanted stitching, where maybe there's 4 different challenges for the week and I'm switching in between projects. But you can reset, and then I really so let's say I'm working on Tree of Magic, then as I'm going, I tend to count when I finish either a strand of floss, or if I finish like a whole motif or section, then I will literally just look at the pattern, and I will have the little counter, and I'll be looking at the pattern and be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just go back over the pattern line by line where I've stitched. I hope that makes sense. If it's big blocks of color, then I'll wait until I finish the whole block. Otherwise, I tend to do it every time I finish a strand. I'll count up what I just stitched with my little counter, and you can just click, click, click. And also if you know, it's like, oh, there were 9 lines of, you know, 7 or, you know, 5 lines of 10, and you know that's 50, you can just enter 50. You don't have to click 50 times. So that's how I count my stitches for challenges. Sometimes I love counting stitches. Sometimes I get burnt out and don't want to do it anymore, and so I'll take a break from them. But in general, I find it really fun and motivating, and it keeps me, you know, making sure that if I pick up a piece for a day, that I'm actually putting, you know, maybe 250 or 300 stitches in it before moving on. So I hope that helped as to how I count. I know some people have like physical little click counters, click, click, click. That's kind of the same thing on an app. I'm sure there's a free, that one was free. I'm sure there's free ones for iPhone as well that are similar. I maybe just search for click counter. I think that's the search term that I put in. Okay, next question. Somebody had asked about magnets for needle minders because I had made that I voted piece, and I glued a magnet to it so that I could either wear it or use it as a needle minder. I get my magnets off of Amazon. I will pop a link below of the ones that I've bought and work well and are not terribly expensive and are that like kind of a little bit bigger size. I like them because you can get tiny ones if you have something, you know, really small, but I like that. I don't know what size they are. Maybe 15 millimeter? I don't know. I'll put the link below in the shopping section of the magnets that I get off of Amazon. So that's where I get them. I do know that you want like rare earth magnets because you don't want ones that are like coated that could leave a mark on your fabric. So that's what you're looking for, are rare earth magnets. And then I glue them on with E6000 adhesive glue. It's super strong. All right, so that's Q&A, and I'll just jump into what I worked on this week, I guess. I don't know that I have anything life update wise. It was kind of a busy week last week. I did a lot of text banking, and I can't even remember what else we did last week. This week, oh, we did get some crazy news today. My middle, she's the oldest one at home right now. My middle daughter is a senior and has been trying to take the ACT since April. Has had it canceled on her so many times, has done so much tutoring. She was scheduled for September and October. They were both canceled, and it was in some way kind of a relief because she could just quit prepping for it. Like she was like, well, I guess it's not going to happen. And I really wanted like her practice test, she was scoring really well. And so she was hoping to have that really good score to kind of help her with her application to some of the more competitive colleges she wanted to get into. She's hoping to get into. And so she was like, oh, well, I guess that's just, I can quit worrying about it now. It's not going to happen. Everything had been canceled, moved on with her life. Almost all of her applications are done and ready to submit. And today she got an email, hey, we have a spot for you on Saturday. So she's decided it's a little bit far away. It's a couple hours away, but I got a hotel room and she said that she's going to just YOLO it. She's just going to go take it. She had quit prepping for it, quit studying for it, quit practicing for it, but she's like, let's see what happens. This year just keeps being full of surprises, but who knows? Maybe this is just how it was meant to be, that she just won't stress about it and will get a really good score and it'll help her with some of her college applications. And if not, oh well, we didn't think she was going to be able to take it anyway. So that's about all the news I have. Otherwise, I think we're just kind of doing same old. The girls are busy finally getting to do their choreography for dance, and college classes finally started for my oldest that is at the University of Washington. So she just started her classes last week. And so we're just fully into fall. It is fully fall here. I love the fall. I love the autumn time. So I've just been doing some work and doing some text making and doing some stitching. Been doing some stitching and knitting. I've been liking the knitting. Okay, so first whip is full coverage. This past week, Harry Potter book covers was what was in rotation. And this is by Fox and Teacup Design. I'm doing the supersize max color version. And this had come out like one time in September, but I didn't really feel like I had my legs under me with it again yet. And now I do. Now I feel like I'm finally like getting moving on this third book and trekking along. So this is where I am. So I'm just working my way down, but this next block here is the bottom of this first page. So this will rotate back out for a week and then it'll come back. But I wanted to check out these things. I can't remember what they're called. Someone, now I can't even remember who it was. I can't remember who it was. On one of our Stitchy meetup Zooms, one of our Zoom Stitchy meetups for channel members had asked me if I had seen these, and I got them off of Amazon. I'll link them below, but they're like, here, I'll show you. They're like little magnet, I think they call them twist ties, but they're like almost little bungee magnet cords. And for these big pieces, you know, I do use the thread huggers, but when you have a big hunk of fabric, they don't really fit. They get stretched out and they don't really hold it. These are amazing, you guys, because it really holds that fabric back out of your way. And honestly, they're strong magnets. It's a nice little needle minder. Like you could just not even have a needle minder on your piece if you didn't want. So I love these. Farewell to Anger's coming back out, and I'm gonna put a few on Farewell to Anger as well. So if you are a full coverage stitcher and have to like roll up all that extra fabric, I can't remember what they're called. I will link them below because they're game changer. Game changer, love them, love them, love them. Watch out for these to come back a little later. So that's Harry Potter book covers. And I'm just kind of moving along. I finally feel like I have my legs under me and I'm making, we're cooking now. Now we're cooking on book 3. So that's good. Hold on just 1 minute. Okay. Sorry about that. There was a cat in here that was starting to get into things that he shouldn't, and I knew he was just going to cause problems. So he's been relocated. All right, where was I? Harry Potter book covers. That was full coverage. This week it will be Farewell to Anger. Okay, so let's see what else did I work on. Let's look at the handy dandy planner, because last Monday feels like half a year ago. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like half a year ago. Okay. So I last recorded last Monday in the morning, and I was headed that day to go meet Becca of Sambry Stitches and Robin of Lady Robins and some of the other Kitsap Stitchers for a little socially distanced outdoor picnic stitchy meetup, which was so fun. I had such a blast with them, and I took over to start while I was there with them. Hello Dear, the new Caterpillar cross stitch, and I didn't print out the first clue, but I know I showed it to you last week and told you I was going to start it. So I did get started on Hello Dear. I got the full kit, so I'm stitching this on the kit linen. I chose 16 count Aida. You can choose 14 count, 16 count, or 28 even weave, and I went with 16 count Aida, and this is where I've gotten to so far. Look at the little birdie starting to come out, and look at the adorable little needle minder of him. I had mentioned last week that I didn't think I was going to do the Santa hat, and I was just going to take the hat off of him, and all of you much smarter, more crafty and ingenious stitchers than me said, oh, well, you could maybe take because he looks just like this. Said maybe you could take the little, you know, tail of the hat and pom-pom off it and just make it a winter hat. Yes. So you can see here's the brim, and I'm just going to do it as like a little stocking knit hat and put the pom-pom on top. So I think I'm going to make it blue, the darker blue, because here's all the kit flosses. So the band is in this color, so I think I'm going to do the top in this color. And then it won't be Christmassy, it'll just be him wearing a little winter hat to keep his head warm. So I'm making decent progress on this, and I'll talk more in plans later what kind of my plan of attack is for October, but this has been getting like a length or two of thread in it every day. So this is the first thing I touch when I sit down to stitch, and it's coming along. It's coming along. Hopefully I can mostly keep up with it. The sections do seem to be, for me, because I'm not a monogamous stitcher, they're kind of big for release every 2 weeks. If you're a monogamous stitcher, you would absolutely knock it out, and it would be very easy to keep up on. So the next part comes out next Monday, I believe next Monday, and I'm excited to see, because the section we're working on is over here. So I'm excited to see where we go from there. You can absolutely still get in on this stitch along. It's all charted in DMC. So if you want to get just the PDF only, you could still order a kit from Sally too. And I have a code Martini10. So you can get 10% off the Hello Dear if you want to join us. It's so cute. And just a fun, relaxing, super fun, relaxing stitch. So that's Hello Dear. I also did put a little work into my other stitch along, which is not caught up. But this one is Enjoy the Sunshine from Tempting Tangles. And here is where I am on it. So this is released every 2 weeks, and it's 16 parts. So far 4 have been released. I'm working on number 3 over here. And then number 4 looks just like this section over here. And then that's the whole top band. So it'll be a quarter of the way done. Yeah, it'll be a quarter of the way done. So I am a little bit behind, but these sections are not a ton of stitching, and I think I'll be able to catch it back up. I'm doing this on a piece of 28 count linen in Lemon by BeStitchMe, and I'll put Olive Brandy's contact info below because she dyed up this color specifically for this stitch along. You can still get the color, but this stitch along was the inspiration for the color, and it's so pretty. And the stitch along itself is all charted in Dinky dyes, but I'm doing a conversion I did to Missus Sedas silks. You can see that I haven't even used that color yet, but it's super fun, bright, fun colors, and I really like it. So I did work a little bit on this. My idea is that I will kind of rotate between Hello Dear and this one. So I'm hoping that maybe I can finish up Hello Dear before next Monday and then go back to this one a little bit. But since this is a summer one, I'd rather get a little behind on this one and catch it up, you know, over the winter months. Whereas this is Hello Dear is a winter themed stitch along that will end at the end of November. At the end of November, I think. Let me look. I think I have the release schedule. So if I could finish it like relatively on time, then I could get it FFO'd and hung up. Let me see if I have the release schedule. I'm sure I do somewhere. I'm sure it is in here somewhere. Yes. Okay, so part 5 drops the 23rd of November. So like I could maybe have this done by the middle of December and get it put up for the last few months of winter. So I'm going to try to stay more caught up on this, but if I get to the point where I'm caught up, then I will switch over for that daily stitching to Enjoy the Sunshine. Okay, that brings me to Tuesday, which was the 29th, which is Long Dog Leap Day sale. Yay! And it was also my last sampler for Sampler September, so I got out, of course, Cardinal points. All my other samplers for Sampler September got 3 days of work. Cardinal points got 2. It got the 29th and 30th, but it gets worked on every month, so I was okay kind of shorting it a day. This is charted by Julia line of Long Dog samplers for Gentle Arts. And I am stitching this on a 36 count white even weave with all the called for colors. The only substitution I made was one of the yellows. I'll show you here, and here is where I got to. So I had told you I was shooting for 1,000 stitches on this potentially. It didn't happen. I quit counting after 400 because I knew I was not going to get to 1,000. There's just so many little color changes in here. I don't think I ever could have put in 1,000 stitches in 2 days. I mean, good effort, Erin, but no. So I did this flower, a couple of these leaves, started in on this flower motif, and a little bit of that first cardinal. So I'm getting to my first cardinal. So this, which one is it? One of the yellows, the Gentle Arts Sunflower, was the same color as Gold Leaf. So this is Gold Leaf. My Sunflower was the exact same color. So I switched it out for color and cotton, I think Autumn Gourd. I think it's Autumn Gourd that I switched it out for. So, because this is Gold Leaf and this is the Autumn Gourd, and they were, the lot of sunflower I had was almost the exact same color as Gold Leaf. And I wanted a little more variation between the two. So that's the only substitution I made. Otherwise, it's all called for. And yeah, there's Cardinal points. I love this piece so much. I love stitching on it. And it's always fun to pull out on the 29th for Long Dog Leap Day sale. So getting closer to a page finish on that, which is good because I think I have to do a page and a half a year to finish in time for the next leap day. We'll get there, no problem. Okay, so I worked on that for 2 days, and then it was the 1st. It was October 1st, which meant high tea. High tea start for me. Oh, I'm zipping up the pattern. There we go. Okay. So October 1st, I did a high tea start, and I started for the last high tea of the year, The Color of Winter by the Blue Flower. I have had this kitted up since like last November, I think, and I've been it deserved to start, and so it felt like high tea was a good place to start. And this is where I got to on my new start. So I got a little bit of border done, and then I got this whole first bird. And I am stitching this on a 32 count Lakeside linen in Chantilly cream. Chantilly cream? Yes, Chantilly cream. I saw the, I just keep the acorn and threads tag on there until I need to take it off. So that way I can remember what it is. And I am doing this in almost all called for colors. So here they are. And the only substitutions I've made is I substituted some of the weeks for comparable classic colorworks, just because I prefer classic colorworks a little bit. So instead of chickpea, I'm using peanut brittle. Instead of Pimlico, I'm using stepping stones. And instead of grasshopper, I'm using mossy. But you can see I did keep some of the weeks where I felt like there wasn't one that matched it really well. And then the only other substitution I made, because when I started this, I realized that I didn't have piney woods. There just must not have been any when I kitted this up, like acorns must have been out. And so I pulled Forest Glade from my stash instead, which I think I'm gonna maybe like better than piney woods anyway, because I do have piney woods. I have some in my garden club whip, but Piney Woods tends to be kind of brown. And for this piece with all the different colors, I thought that more green. So I'm going to be using Forest Glade instead of Piney Woods. But there's my start on Color of Winter. Such a good chart. I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so that brings me to October, and I really hadn't kind of decided what I was going to do for October yet. I think when I talked to you all last Monday, because a lot of people do dark 13 stitching and just stitch on Halloween and dark projects all month, or start a bunch of things. And I started a bunch of things in September, and I'm feeling the urge to finish. So Jenny Long Dog Stitcher, who is just so clever. I had mentioned last week that I was feeling the urge to finish things, and I felt like maybe I was just going to finish stuff, but there was no good, you know, there was no good alliteration. There's no like finish it up October. And she said, hashtag get it over. I love it. I love it. So October for me is officially hashtag get it over, and I am finishing. I pulled 5 or 6 projects that I think could be finished up in anywhere from 2 to 4 days, and I'm going to take them one at a time and get them over. Not because I'm not enjoying them, but just because I felt like I have a lot of projects that are there. Like they're there where if I just focused on them for a couple days, I could finish them up. And then that would make me feel better about starting more things. Like the Zimmerman coverlet that, did you all see? There's going to be, I showed you last week. We're going to take a little detour because I think I still have the cover sheet here. Yes. Modern Folk Embroidery, the Zimmerman coverlet. Ellen's doing a stitch along starting on the 10th. I think I'm going to have to join. Someone else had said, oh, you could do this motif as like the top of the drum, because I had talked about doing this here and doing a drum finish. I think that's it. I think that's the ticket, guys. I don't know. I have to do the maths to make sure that if I do this motif, that it would fit on the top of this. Seems like it would. We'll figure it out. Anyway, but that means I've got to do some stash diving and figure out what color I'm going to stitch this in, what floss and fabric I'm going to stitch this in, because I think that that's going to be my plan. Is I'm going to stitch this. I'm going to even take this top part. I'm going to stitch that. Well, it's a long piece, and then this for the top of the drum. So there's plans for the 10th. I gotta do some stash diving. So if I finish some things up, I'm not gonna feel so bad about starting some more stuff. So first up, for get it over, hashtag get it over. Feel free to join in. It was all Jenny's idea. Cheers, Jenny, thank you. I love it. But if you're feeling like finishing stuff up, jump on in. So the first one that I chose for Get It Over was Fancy Blacket and the Butter Churn. I especially wanted to get this one finished because it's kind of a traveling pattern, and I wanted to send it on to another stitcher. So it went out in the mail today because I finished it. Look at her in all of her glory. So I stitched this on a 28 count raw linen and with just stash flosses. And I think I left them all downstairs. I did, so I don't remember what they are. The yellow sunflower, the sunflower that originally came from Cardinal Points, that I remember. The brown is Bramble Bush. I think that this darker green might be Forest Glade, and the lighter one is Bean Sprout. The black is cast iron skillet. This is, I can't remember. I'll put them all below because I still have them out. So I will put below what they all were. However, when it was all done, while I loved it, it felt too bright. It felt too bright and shiny and new for this pattern. So I decided to give it a coffee bath, stitched and all. I figured if I ruined it, it was only like 2 or 3 days of stitching and I could restitch it. But it worked out great. Matter of fact, it's still even a little bright. Like, so I soaked it for like 20 minutes in some, it was actually not coffee, not brewed coffee. It was espresso crystals. So it was pretty strong, deep coffee. And then I baked it. I squished it up and baked it on 200 for about 25 minutes. And I think it came out great. Came out so good. And I ended up leaving the date on. When I started this in October, because I started this for, not October, September. I started this in September for Start-tember on the 13th for Dark 13 stitching. I said I wasn't sure about the date because it wasn't really meaningful to me. I didn't know what the date was about. And once again, a viewer, someone who watches and commented that 1763 was the year that Brakebills University was founded. And if any of you are magicians nerds like I am, I immediately knew. I was like, Brakebills was, so I looked it up, and yes, absolutely. You know, according to the Sci-Fi Wiki, Brakebills University, which is the magic university in the books and then sci-fi series, The Magicians. And I had read the books. I've watched the series, love it. That seemed perfect to me because I'm sure that Fancy went to Brakebills. I mean, of course she did. So in my head, Fancy went to Brakebills, and here she is churning her butter. And yeah, so there we go. Fancy Blackett. And I don't know how I'm going to finish her up. I was thinking maybe a horn book or maybe making a little like hanging pouch or something. The youngest thinks I should put it in the middle of a wreath. So I don't know. I might try to find a wreath with some sunflowers on it and mount it in the middle of a wreath. But there is Fancy Blackett. First finish of Get It Over. So that was exciting. And so then the next project I pulled out for Get It Over is this little one that I also started last month, Autumn Pennies. This came from the fall issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. It is done by Teresa Vanette of Shakespeare's Peddler. Love it, love it, love it. And so I've worked on this for a day now, and I think I probably have 2 more days of stitching in it. I'm stitching this on the same 28 count rod. It actually is the same piece. So you can see how the light coffee bath darkened it up. So it just seemed a little too bright because all the flosses were a little bright. And you know, Fancy looks a little more primitive than that to me. So this is on that same 28 count raw, and you can see I'm making some good progress. So this is like I think I only stitched on this for a day when I started it. So this is like 2 days of stitching, and I'm probably a little over halfway done, or about halfway. This big one is in the middle. So I'd say I'm halfway done. So I think probably another 2 days and I will finish this up. And it will be my next finish. And I know what I want to do to finish this. So I'm stitching that in 28 count raw with not called for colors, but called for-ish. It's charted in all Weeks Dye Works with a DMC conversion. So Some of it I'm using the DMC conversion, like this one. 783 is the called for DMC. 730 is the called for DMC. There's black. Instead of sweet potato, I'm using this Color and Cotton Red Fox, which I love. What's happening? Oh, the DMC is coming undone off the bobbin. And then instead of Weeks Dye Works parchment, I'm using Gentle Arts parchment. And instead of Teal Frost, the DMC conversion on that is 501, but I'm using 3810. So that was a great little like from stash project. And I love it. And there's more things in that magazine I want to stitch. So let's go. So many things to stitch, y'all. All right. So I think that's it. Is that everything that I worked on? That's everything that I worked on this week. Stitching wise. So you guys want to see a little bit of knitting wits? I now have 3 projects cast on. You guys. I'm dropping things. Okay. So the first thing I worked on towards the beginning of the week, and I think I had showed you all my grandmother's shawl. The one that I'm working on for my grandmother, which is this one. The Blue Jean Saturday Asymmetrical Shawl by OC Knittiet Designs. So there we go. Blue Jean Saturday. It's just a black and white. It's not great, but you can see there's garter sections and lace sections. So I think I had just started the lace section when I showed you all last week, and I had put in a lifeline. Well, I finished up that first lace section and it went pretty well. I was definitely learning new things. I was learning some yarn overs and other things, and it went pretty well. Not perfect because those eyelets are supposed to be in a total diagonal. And you can see like here and here, I somehow jogged them back. And I was trying to decide if I was gonna rip it out and redo it, but I decided that I don't know that you're gonna be able to tell. And it's for my grandmother, who will love it because I made it for her. So I decided to just keep going. Oh, there we go. That's actually almost better. See, they're not a perfect diagonal. And I don't think I could recreate the mistake on the next lace sections if I wanted to. But I decided, you know what? I'm learning, and I think it still looks really good. So I put in another lifeline, and I'm now like 2 rows into the next garter section. And then I decided I had that eyelet section done, and I got another lifeline in, and so I would switch back to my lentilla for a little bit. And I did. So that's that one. Oh, and that was the one that last week I was like, I don't know what this is. It's yarn. It's pretty. I actually ended up buying another one because I had to cut a bunch off of that I had knotted up when I ripped it out. It was a bit of a disaster. So I wasn't positive that there was going to be enough. And if anything, I would like to maybe put an extra section on it rather than short it. So I just went and got another one because I purchased this at my local Ben Franklin. But this is the brand. It's Malabrigio. And the color is Jupiter. And it is their sock weight. I don't think it says anything else. It's their sock weight. It's so pretty. So we'll see if I need to use this or not. I probably will. Which makes me think like, oh, I was like, oh yeah, I think I can finish it up. And now I'm thinking, well, that's a lot of yarn to knit, and then I might need more, but I'll just keep chipping away at it, and hopefully it'll be done for her in time for Christmas. Okay, so after I got through that first section, I decided to switch back to my lentilla project and find the picture. I want to show you the pattern. Surely I have a picture. I know I do. Hold on. There it is. Okay, so this is lentilla by Martina Bem. Yeah, Martina Bem. And it's one of the hitchhikers. So I bought a set of 4 of her like hitchhiker style, but this one has a ruffly edge. And I am knitting this as a knit along with my dear, dear sweet friend Annie, Joyful Stitcher. And we are doing hashtag Treehouse Lentilla cowl, not a Sal, a cowl, because we're both using Treehouse yarn, yarn from Treehouse Knits. So here is where I got to. So I put in, I think I did, oh, well here, look, I put in a progress marker before I started. So there's my progress marker. So you can see that's how much more I did. So I did 1, 2, 3 more ruffles. And now as I'm getting further along, the ruffles are looking more ruffly and I really love it. And this is fingering weight yarn from Treehouse Knits on Etsy. I'll link them below in the colorway Seattle. See, it's so pretty. I love it. I love this yarn so much. And I'm really enjoying. Now that I've got these short rows down, they're really fun. I kind of like the short rows. I know that a lot of knitters dread them, or they maybe cause, I don't know. It seems like there was a lot of anxiety about short rows. Maybe just because I don't know what I don't know. I just learned them and I think they're really fun. I think they're really fun. So there we go. So I did 3 on this and decided now I'm going to rotate back to my grandmother's. So yeah, I had a progress marker on the other one too. So I could have showed you how much progress I had. Okay, so those are the 2 shawls I'm working on. I told you that I cast something else on, which I was really not planning to do. I said 2 knitting whips was enough for me. And then I had my hair up in a ponytail one day and I said to Becca, I said, I wish I had some of those like hair wraps, you know, that like twist or not, you know, or button that just kind of make it like look a little better and not just like I'm being like schlubby by throwing my hair up in a ponytail. And she says, well, you knit now, you could knit yourself one. She's a smart kid. What can I say? She's my kid, she's smart. I was like, you're right. I probably could knit myself one. So I did a little research on like what type of yarn I would need, what weight, what needles, find a pattern that I could do. And I found one that called for 50 grams of DK weight yarn using size, can't remember what size are these, 8 that I had. I had size 8 needles and my leftover yarn from the Empower People bandana, I had 51 grams. So I'm using up the rest of my Empower People bandana yarn and making myself a little head wrap. And this will knit to get like, it'll get seamed together and it'll be like a twist in the front. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like that. So I think I'm almost halfway done actually, because I think I need like, I measured my head, I think I need like 20 inches and I think I'm at about 10. And this is super, super easy. It's really fun. I really like it. You just really like, you purl one and then you knit one, purl one all the way across and then go back. And it's the same thing, just back and forth and back and forth. So this has become the perfect mindless knitting while I'm waiting for like my next campaign assignment while text banking or waiting for replies, because the rows are super fast. You can just put one in and then answer some more text and put one in. And it's the same thing back and forth and back and forth. And because it's knit one, purl one, which I know has a name and I don't know what it is. I've gotten better at purling because the Hitchhiker and the Blue Jean Saturday are mostly garter stitch. It's mostly just knitting. Like there's an occasional purl at the beginning of a row, but I'm getting way better at purling. So I'm not really learning anything from this other than maybe whatever that stitch is. It makes it really fun and bumpy. You guys all know this. All of you knitters are probably just laughing at me, but look, it makes it fun and bumpy, nice texture, and I do love this yarn, and so I'm really glad I'm going to use up the rest of it. So hopefully, maybe next week this will be done. And I'll be wearing it. Wouldn't that be cool? What do we think? Maybe. I mean, and I keep thinking there's not going to be enough yarn, but I weighed it. It says 50 grams with these needles, and I have a small head anyway. So I'm actually probably just, and I probably need to take into account how much it's going to stretch, right? Yeah, like, see, that's definitely halfway done. I have a little head. Okay, so that is knitting project number 3. And I can't even remember the pattern. It was free on a blog site. I will link it below. The pattern that I was actually following shows that at the end you seam it together and then you like pinch it and you knit a little stockinette, like wrap and tack it down. But I've seen other patterns where they show you how to make it like a little twist in the front. So I'm going to do that instead. So I'm kind of hacking together a couple patterns. Look at me, already just going off script on the knitting. So I don't even have a bag. I don't even have a bag for this. Just sits by my computer and goes in there. All right, that's all of the works in progress. So plans for this week. Farewell to Anger is coming out as the full coverage project for this week. So Farewell to Anger. And first thing I'm going to work on every day when I sit down, I will put at least one length into Hello Dear. And then when that's caught up, it'll be a length into Enjoy the Sunshine. So that, and then get it over. So Autumn Pennies, and then once that one's done, I'll take a look at my pile of potential finishes and see what I want to do next. It's kind of fun. The only other thing on the schedule is this Friday is the birthday for Cinnamon Stars. Cinnamon Stars will be a year old, and so I'm going to work on that some. I kind of thought it would maybe bother me more when these whips had a birthday and I wasn't close to finishing them, and it's just not. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I guess they'll all get finished eventually, right? That definitely has more than a couple days worth of stitching on it though, so it did not make the list for Get It Over. So Cinnamon Stars will get a little work on Friday. And other than that, I'm just going to be finishing stuff up. Let's see how many finishes I can get before next week. Okay, haul. I have a tiny little bit of haul, and then we'll do giveaway. All right, so I really only got 2 things in the mail this week, and the first was a package from Tracy Horner of Ink Circles. I am a Patreon patron. I'm a patron of hers on Patreon because you guys know my deep and abiding love of the Ink Circles charts, and I think Tracy's a genius. And she sent all of her patrons, I assume at maybe a certain level, a gift package. Like, it just showed up. And it was in this fun little like vellum envelope and had just like the coolest things. So one, she wrote me a sweet, sweet note that blew my mind. It was like a personal note. This was not a thanks for being a patron. This is a personal note. I died because I love and admire her so much. She also sent a beautiful like blank thank you card for me to use, which is fantastic because I love sending out little goodies to other people, and I will send that card with them. We also got 2 little decal stickers. I'm trying to decide where to put these. I don't know. I want to put them somewhere really special. So I haven't decided where I'm putting these yet, but there was a color one and a black and white one. She also included a needle minder of one of her mandala patterns, and it's a nice needle minder. It's got a button on the back. So I'm trying to decide which one this is going to go on. I actually kind of feel like this is maybe an excuse to start a new Ink Circles project. What do we think? I mean, I could put this on Quaker Geometric Puzzle. That would maybe be the responsible thing to do. I'm contemplating starting the smaller pattern from After the Roses. I also like Her This'll Do, which I don't even own yet. I clearly been thinking about it. I don't know. What do we think? is this an invitation to start a new ink circles? I believe it is. And then she also sent a Carrie's Creation floss in sea green. Totally my color, sea green. I love it. I love it. I feel like I should start, maybe I'll do one of her Patreon exclusive charts. That's what I'll do. Maybe with this floss. I don't know. Let's give that some thought. I think when I go stash diving for the Zimmerman coverlet stuff, I will also be thinking about ink circles. Okay, and then the other thing I got in the mail, which I'm going to just show you the outer box, is Fall Into Stitching Retreat in a Box from the Black Needle Society. I've already opened this. I filmed an unboxing, which went at the end of my weekly vlog for my channel members. And so they kind of got first crack at seeing what's inside. I will post the unboxing for everybody else probably Thursday. Just know it's really good. It's really good. Their boxes are so well curated. I'm not gonna miss one. Like, if there's a specialty theme box that is up my alley, I will be buying it in their regular subscription, because they're doing like one every other month, I think, in 2021, starting in January. So there'd be 6 boxes a year next year. I won't miss one. I won't miss one. They're amazing. I'll link them below. So much goodness in here. It was a happy, happy day when that showed up. Okay, that's it. That's it for haul. That's all I got. Oh, and I got these little doodads, which are going to be the giveaway. I'm not going to give away all of them. I'm going to give away a set of them. Maybe I'll let you pick the colors. I don't know. I've already used a couple of them, but I'm going to give away like 4 to 2 different people. So if you, well, let's do last week's giveaway first, real quick. Let's do last week's giveaway first. Last week I had up for giveaway this little Lizzie Kate Flip It. It's the November blocks, but it looked like everything fall and autumn to me. So I just asked you to use the word fall somewhere if you, in your comment, if you wanted to stitch this. And this is going out to Susie Marshall. Susie, you won! So I already have your address because you filled out my Google form. I love that Rachel Ray calls it a happy mail form. So I might have to just steal that from her because, you know, or borrow it. Borrowing from my super smart friend. So that Google form is a happy mail form because it allows you to get happy mail from me. So if you would like to win a giveaway, or maybe just have me send you random happy mail, make sure you fill out the form linked in the description box below. Susie did, and so she's getting that chart. Yay! Okay, so if you would like some of these magnetic little twisty tie things for your full coverage projects, because like they weren't horribly expensive, but like if you don't want this many and maybe just want a few to try out, when am I going to have you let me know? Tell me if you stitch full coverage. Even if you don't and you just want some to give them a try on your regular stuff, that's fine. You don't have to stitch full coverage, but I'm going to be looking for full coverage. So tell me, do you like full coverage projects? Do they scare the heck out of you? Are you a hateaholic? I think there was a sale recently and I managed to restrain myself, which is not easy. However, I am starting to feel an urge to maybe start, I have a couple minis. I have a couple minis in my stash and I'm kind of starting to feel like, oh, maybe if I start a mini, I would finish that faster. I don't know. So I am going to give away 2 sets. So four in each set. I'll give away 2 sets. So I'll pick 2 winners for next week. If you want to try out the little magnetic, I don't even twist ties. I think they call them magnetic ties or magnetic twist ties. I will also link them below. If you want a whole big old set like this, I'll link them below. You can see I have one black and one green one on Harry Potter book covers, and I'm going to put a couple on Farewell to Anger. And then I'm going to give a few away to you. So I think that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. And I hope everyone is having a good week and staying safe and healthy. Get your flu shot. I've got appointments for flu shots this week. That's super exciting, but we're headed into the winter months. So wear your mask. Wear your mask. No matter what our president says, it's a big deal. This virus is a big deal. Wear your mask. Go get a flu shot. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you back here next week. Cheers.